Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from where you're joining across the world. I welcome you once again in the episode number 18 of Unknown to Known special session, special edition on HRSD part 2. And I welcome you all once again in this session. And welcome Harneet once again in this session, learning session, knowledge session, experience session, demo session, question session, a lot of more we are bringing on that particular part. How are you doing, Harneet?
Thank you so much, Atul, for having me here again. Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing all right. Sorry, I just had the video on the other screen, so I was able to hear myself. But
No problem. That's
um, yeah, really excited to be here, Atul. Again, this time we are focusing more on the hands-on, trying to get
yes,
a few more screens to be shown to the audience so that it's more relatable. Obviously, when we talk about through the slides, it's more theoretical. Uh, Obviously, people learn, but then having a look at actual screens, trying to understand how an
true.
end user raises a request and then how fulfillment happens through all the screens. I think that's really beneficial. So really excited
Definitely
about it.
yes. Definitely yes, Harneet. So before we start, let's go as per our tradition. Let's take a 10-second, 20-second pause here for everybody. Take a pause. Pray to God what knowledge we are going to be get today. Definitely today, Harneet is there for our teacher, our guru here. So let's say what thoughts, what knowledge he bring, and we can observe the same in the same manner only. Okay, Harneet. So what has been changed in the last 1 week? What's new?
Obviously, what I've done is I think we skipped a couple of. Sorry, are you talking about the HRSD topic itself, right?
No, no,
Or
no. HRSD
is
will
that
start
different?
later on.
Okay. Honestly, not a whole lot has changed. Yeah, just going through some house cleaning because my parents are coming up in a couple of days.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, really excited about them coming here for the first time. That's pretty much what's on my mind at the moment. But yeah, I've been looking at some of the new things that have been coming up in Xanadu, just trying to keep myself up to date. I think you've started sharing about Creator Studio as well. Really
Yes,
good
yes.
sort of application coming out of the Xanadu release, and I think it's now available on your personal
PDF.
instance as well. It's just
Correct.
available as a plugin, and you can just go ahead and
True.
install, try it out as well.
Yes, yes, yes. So what are your thoughts about the Creator Studio? Maybe just two-liners?
Again, my initial thought about Creator Studio was it's going to help the developers develop apps faster. But from
Mhm.
the initial looks of it, what it looks like is an extended version of Catalog Builder, what we used to have before.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's initial view. And again, I think as ServiceNow keeps adding more and more features on top of what we already have with these new functionalities, I would say this is not a whole
Mhm.
lot of features. It's just a functionality on top of Catalog Builder.
That's right.
I think this is just going to have more and more impact for the no code or low code developers. So wherein people like yourself,
Yes.
as an
Thank you.
as a business process consultant, can just go into the ServiceNow
Yes.
platform, start building applications, start building the forms that are associated with that. Some of those applications will actually, some of those applications are something that we're going to see in the real time scenario today in our demo because to request an HR service, it's all related to a catalog form. So if I
True.
am supposed to raise a ServiceNow HR request, obviously that's all linked back to a catalog item as well. So all
Right.
of those can be done by a Creator Studio as well. So really
Definitely.
good applications on it.
And the more point is a good point is that it is not for the developers. It is for
Yep.
the non-developers or the
Yep.
business users. So people like me who are on this call or maybe on this session or maybe they watch it later on, just to be update that it is for the people like you and me who don't know the coding. Even though we don't know that how to create a table as well in the service now, this is what the Creator Studio is bringing for us. Yeah. So
Yep.
you said Anish that you will be exploring the content for the Zenando now. So
Yep.
anything new you find in the Zenando that maybe one or two tips?
I think we've talked briefly about these things. I've started making some notes as well, but yeah, Sandbox again, that's a really good
Yes.
feature that's coming out. Text to app was again another feature. Even text to catalog item is another feature that's coming
Yes.
out. So you can just start writing what you want in your catalog item. Say, sure, description to be this, variable to be this, needs to be mandatory, and has a
Right.
validation of only 9 characters to be accepted. So stuff like that, you can actually now start writing in the Now Assist, and then it will automatically generate the catalog item in the backend with um,
With the now
the
system.
inputs that you're giving.
Correct.
What else was there? I
Okay.
think we saw a lot of things. Honestly, let's just start
Yeah,
with.
definitely. Sandbox is there, developer twin is there, and image to flow, which we see in the knowledge as well. That is also coming
Yes,
on that particular part.
that is for process automation designer. So you
Correct.
just
Process
click a
automation.
picture, and then it
Right.
converts it into a process automation flow in the ServiceNow platforms. Again, a really good
Okay.
feature there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Good. So now let's come back on the HRSD part. But don't forget that we still have a game open, rapid fire, and today I'm again bringing some new, uh, not characters basically, alphabets to you, and then you have to be answering that particular part. So get ready for the same. Very
Sounds
soon
good.
I'm bringing that only.
Atul, you
Okay.
should start sending me those words beforehand. I need to be really prepared for those. It's not just the
No, no,
HRSD
no,
deck
no.
I need to prepare.
So for everybody, these podcasts which I'm conducting are totally unscripted, other than
Yeah.
the topic we decided. So don't worry that that Hanith is my good friend, so I'm favoring him. It's not like that. I'm not
Nah,
favoring
he
him.
doesn't do that.
I want to make it that yes, you need to be think something. Yes, this can be the word. This can be the word. This can be the word. Okay. So Hanith, before we go forward, let's take a back step. Can you summarize that what we discussed? Maybe as I remember that we discussed about the HRSD as a product,
Yep.
their terms, terminologies, categories, subcategories, kind of things we discuss. Then we discuss about the integrations, that how we can or what integrations are available, and
Hmm.
we discussed a little about the onboarding, offboarding journey as well.
Correct.
Anything else which I'm missing here as a recap part?
So the whole thing around how users raises this request, which is from an employee center. So again, it's a portal that was initially developed just for the internal request, but now it's been extended to cover the overall platform requests as well, like incidents, requests, universal requests, legal requests. Everything can now be raised through ESC portal. So that was another topic that we covered last week.
Right. Okay. Good. Anybody has any question for the last week's session? Maybe if I missed out something, because I got a feedback that in the last session I missed out one or two questions raised by someone. Maybe it's were a lot of comments were there, so I forgot to scroll up. So anybody has any questions, so you can put it here. Okay, Hanith, over to you now. So are we starting with the demo directly, or we have some slides to be discussed and then we go for the demo?
Yeah, there's just a couple more things I'd like to cover before
Mhm.
we go into the demo. And again, just going to take just 5 more minutes, and then I think we
Sure.
should go to go into the demo.
Definitely, definitely.
Good. Let me bring up my screen.
In the meantime, let me ask a question. Is HRSD a scoped application or a global application? This question is not for you, Harneet, for the audience. HR application is a global application or a scoped application? You can put your answer in the chat window if you know the answer. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
I hope my screen's visible now.
Yes. Let me give it a full splash. Right. Good, Harneet.
Perfect. So as Atul just helped us recover, remember what we have covered in the last few sessions. I just wanted to quickly cover a few more aspects around how the HRSD module has been built with the HR integrations. Again, we briefly talked about this, but then just wanted to touch base on this because this is a really key aspect from a HR integrations perspective, because everything is integrated between other systems. So HR ServiceNow is not an HR system, so it needs certain information to be brought into the platform. One needs to be sent outside of the ServiceNow platform. So how does that whole interaction happens between these instances? And a really key one is the Microsoft 365, because a user journey mostly happens in an O365 organization, right? Sorry, in your O365 environments. So talking about the user profiles and tasks, so we briefly talked about user profiles as well last week. So wherein HR user profile is a bit different than a regular user profile. So on your user profiles, you'll see first name, last name, email ID, phone number, all of this information, which can actually be seen by other people.
Mhm.
But HR profile information is something very sensitive. So say, are you married or not? What's your date of birth? What's your visa status like? What's your employee code? Stuff like that. I think that's more internal sort of information, which is only available on the HR profile. So where do we receive those information? That's from Workday, Oracle, or from SAP SuccessFactors. So these integrations usually help you bring in those information from the environments into the ServiceNow platform. And again, these are key to start your HRSD journey.
Got it.
Second thing we briefly talked about last week was some of the training related tasks. So let's say Atul has recently joined organization, and there are certain set of trainings that he needs to complete. So usually the training parts are usually stored on applications like Cornerstone, Pluralsight, Udemy, SumTotal, Sabah. I think ServiceNow used to have these trainings on Sabah before,
Right.
and then we also have Workday learnings as well. So with ServiceNow's integration with these applications, what it gives us is if Atul has just been onboarded, it gives Atul and his manager a view of all the trainings that were supposed to be completed in the designated time frame and the current status of it as well. So again, these can be tracked from, say, your manager hub, which is again an application or a feature in ServiceNow HRSD, where Atul's manager can track those. But obviously for Atul as well, these are readily available on the landing portal where he can see which trainings has not yet been completed. The next one is request services in a flow of work. Again, this is a key integration from ServiceNow. These are more for the outbound requests. So when you have done something in the platform, let's assume a onboarding journey. So I've raised a request for Atul to get onboarded, but on the day when he's supposed to join, I want his O365 licenses to be assigned to his user profile. So what that means is give him a Teams license, give him an Outlook license, give him access to all the other Microsoft applications on his computer, right?
Right.
So that has to be done as an outbound integration from ServiceNow. So Atul is onboarded, everything is created, his HR profile is available, but now I need to assign the OC65 licenses. So again, that happens via ServiceNow as well. Again, we do have other connectivity via integrations which are for Viva connections. Obviously, the integration with Teams,
Mhm.
and obviously we have an integration with Slack as well for all your HR day-to-day work activities as well.
So Hadi, when you talk about these many integration, because HR is like a central place, or I can say ServiceNow HR platform is a central place for every other tool.
Yep.
So are we having a out of the box spokes available, or we have to build it from the scratch for these kind of integrations? Because it's not that much easy to build these one. What I think.
That is correct. So back in the days, we used to build custom integrations for all of this, but with
Mhm.
Integration Hub brought into the picture,
Right.
all of these are available as spokes, which is nothing
Okay.
but connectors or actions that can be utilized in your flow directly. All you need is some inputs to be passed to it, and then the integrations will automatically happen if you have got your credentials and other configurations
Okay.
done
Means
right from the
again the same funda. We have to just put our endpoint URLs, tables, and the what parameters we need. Put
Yep.
it there, and it will be connect automatically and work for us.
That is correct. So
Okay.
there's always a module. So initially you do the configurations, put up all
Right.
your credentials, and then send the input parameters via your flow. Because let's say if I want to assign O365 license to Atul's profile, I need to send Atul's O365 ID, and then again what license I need to assign
Mhm.
to Atul. So these will be your input parameters, but obviously the integration definitions are initially done as well.
Okay. Got it.
The last one in here is again a key aspect during HR, which is if Atul is getting onboarded, if I want him to sign certain documentations and then get them stored in the platform. Obviously, we have looked at some of these in theory last week as well. But I would need some e-signatures to be put in by Atul. I think everything has now went into that phase where we ask for e-signatures, and a couple
Right.
of applications that come out in that space is Adobe Sign and DocuSign. So
True.
ServiceNow does have an integration with them. So if I've created a template as a document in ServiceNow, if I now need to get a sign copy of this, what I do is I send it to Adobe Sign. Obviously, they send up an email back to Atul. Once Atul has done the signing, the document will be then sent back into ServiceNow, and then it will be stored as a record in the platform. And obviously, the journey of the document will also go forward. That Atul has now signed the document, and now he's ready to to onboard.
Yep. And then again for this as well, we already have a spokes available which can work
Absolutely.
for us. Okay. Good.
So quickly touch basing on the last part of the slides before I jump into the demo. So now intelligence. What this basically depicts is the different aspects of the platform, not particularly under the HRSD hood, but these are platform capabilities, but they complement the HRSD as a application. So virtual agent, I think everybody, all of us know what a virtual agent is. It's an application that helps you chat with the ServiceNow in instance rather than typing, trying to search something. Obviously, a virtual agent feels much more comfortable because it feels like a conversation with the bot. So with HR as well, there are a lot of reusable what's it called, agent topics that are available. So when you install the plugins, you would actually get some agent topics predefined. Now what they help you is to search your knowledge, to raise a request with your into one of your HR services. So let's say you've got a question on payroll. Obviously, it helps you to get the knowledge articles or a request form back into your agent chat, or it can help you to go to a live HR agent as well. So virtual agent helps you there.
Okay.
And obviously, it can help you with integrating with the messaging applications like Slack, Teams. I think just the example that we were talking about earlier.
Hmm.
Next one is predictive intelligence. Again, a platform capability wherein once you have got a threshold of certain records in your platform, you can activate predictive intelligence. Now, what that helps you with is to, um, you know, let's assume that you always categorize your cases, or there's a certain team who works on those cases. Initially, you don't know who. Sorry, based on your 30,000, 40,000 cases
Records.
that have been logged into the platform, now system will be able to automatically detect what categorization that case needs to be in,
Hmm.
and then what's the confidence score associated with that attribute as well. So
Right.
assume
And
the
and
category.
and this predictive intelligence work in the same manner that we are using in our ITSM domains as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly
Same.
the same. Yeah.
Okay. So
It's
so
just
the,
that the data is extracted and then it's
okay.
the
Okay.
LLMs are running on it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
So the next one is again a key thing, performance analytics. I think everybody needs analytics at the back of what's being done by the users, the
Hmm.
agents, and obviously there are certain reporting requirements from higher management as well. So with HRSD performance analytics pack, these are inbuilt dashboards that have been built, and it helps you to keep a track of all your key KPIs.
Okay.
Last thing, again, everybody's talking about this, which is Now Assist, which is nothing
Yes.
but the Gen AI on the ServiceNow platform, on top of its ServiceNow platform.
Right.
At the moment, what it is able to do is summarize the cases. I think
Knowledge
it's
articles summarize the
create,
cases. It's
creating
it's
knowledge articles.
mainly
Yeah.
for the case management. It's the summarization is a key part here in the now
Yep.
assist. Okay.
So it's also able to, I think, yeah, we are going to look at some of those features that have been released in Washington
Hmm.
on what Now Assist is able to do in a few minutes.
Okay.
But then, yeah, Now Intelligence will basically help you to reduce agents' time in terms of
Hmm.
doing some of those summarizations, and also when the case is passed. So a good feature in HRSD is, let's assume I had raised a payroll request, but turns out it's not a payroll, but I don't know, benefits related requests, right? And
Okay.
now I need to pass that request to the benefits team. Obviously, in previous session when we talked about this, we talked about the security model of the service now, the
Right.
HRSD module. So COEs are defined. So payroll is a different COE, benefits are a different COE.
Yeah.
So what that means is these are different tables in the ServiceNow platform.
Hmm.
So there's an option for an agent to transfer a case from one COE to another. So when that happens, obviously some of the information that, let's say, I was holding may get lost if it gets assigned to Atul. So what
Yes.
Now Assist also helps you with is to summarize all the actions that I had taken, the summary of what the user request was, and then pass it to Atul, so that Atul's time can be saved, from reading all the audits, or sorry,
Audit
all
trace.
the
Right.
commentary. Yeah.
Okay. And now assist is not available on the PDAs, right?
No, not at the moment, because
Oh,
it requires LLM at the back end, right?
true.
Because your data needs to be stored, your organization's data needs to be stored somewhere
Hmm.
to run the LLMs on. So
Yeah.
hence the Now Assist at the moment,
Yeah.
it's not
And
available in PDS.
also, Harneet, do we need any kind of a limit of data to run this analysis? Like for the PIs or PAVKs, we say that approximately 30,000 records should be there so that you can get a
Mm,
good pattern of the results.
yep.
So do you know that anything about this thing that in the analysis as well? Because it's again a machine, right? LLM is nothing.
Yep.
It's a machine. It's a code we write and that read our data and then build it something. So is it required any kind of a set of data, 10,000, 20,000, to make a good summarization?
So from a summarization perspective, I believe no, because it's
Mhm.
not running on your other data. I think it's
Okay.
taking this as an input, but then yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it requires
But
certain
maybe
amount
maybe
of
like
data
a
from the.
selection of word articulation sometime because you can't
Yeah.
copy paste a same words from the previous
Yep.
history as well. Okay, good. Let's
Oh
explore
no,
this
sorry, my
part.
bad. So this is their own LLM. So at the moment, now so again, there's no context from your actual organization, but it is
Okay,
ServiceNow's LLM doing it at the moment. So I think we have all
uh,
heard about their integrations with NVIDIA. Sorry, their partnership with
partnership.
NVIDIA. So what
Okay.
they've done is they've built their own ServiceNow LLM. So everything from that uh, uh, code generation perspective as well, what we've seen, right? So now ServiceNow is able to help you write codes just based
Mhm.
on the statements that you write, right? The whole thing actually works without the platform context at the moment. Obviously, you can add your own organizational context, but at the moment, it
Right.
works based on the ServiceNow's collected data or probably in-house data. So at the moment, this is working on their own LLM.
True. I just put a question for everybody on the screen now, and honey, you don't need to be answer it. Let's say what people think about LLM.
Sure.
Okay, good. I got to know a lot of things here, honey. Thank you.
Most welcome, Atul. What I'll do is now I'll quickly jump back into my
PGI.
instance. Yeah,
Nice.
I
How long is your PDI? It's like take it new one, or it's like you're using from the years and years now.
no, I keep losing it. I had a really good one. I think that started with something 20 something, but yeah, I
Okay.
lost it a while ago.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
recent
Because
one.
I run a survey on the LinkedIn and want to know from the people that how old their PDIs is. So someone says it's like a 4 years, 5 years, 6 years as well. Even I was having a 3 years old PDI, but due to this trainings part, it get a little crash of the very bad data. I reset, but it did not work out work out for you properly. So I have to release it. Good. Okay, go ahead, Anit.
Awesome. Let me bring out the module. So when you install the applications again, there are bits and bobs of different applications that are available on the platform. From an HRSD perspective, I think some of those we just talked about, right? So if you don't need document signing, then obviously there are different plugins for that.
Mhm.
If you don't need the analytics, obviously there are different plugins for that. So the based on what you need on your platform is what you need to enable on your instance. At the moment, I think there are a lot of different options that have enabled. But
Right.
to start with, the HR case management is the top module, just like what we see for incident, where you've got all your
Right.
cases, your other configurations.
And what plugin is required for this one?
I think we'll have to go to the documentation site, but let me
Okay.
try and
It is something I guess SN underscore HR core is there, right? Because it is
yeah,
something
yeah,
different.
that is
Different is there. Core is the word I heard for this one.
correct. Yeah, I think that's exactly the name.
Okay.
But yeah, I
I still
should
remember it.
be able to find in the installed ones. Let me have a look. Oh, there you go. Creator Studio as well. Uh,
And you are on the DC release.
sorry, what does that mean?
On the Washington DC release, you are at point
Ah,
of
yeah,
view?
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yes, the Washington DC release. Yeah, so I think you're right. So it's called SN underscore HR underscore core. So that's
Core.
basically
Okay.
the application that brings in the cases and the
Okay.
whole thing around how the cases are managed in the platform. So that's pretty much what it brings in.
Okay. So this is the first one which we have to be bring it here.
That
Oh,
is correct.
sorry to be installed. Okay.
Yeah. So if you
Good.
also see that last week we also talked about the life cycle events, right? Like an onboarding, maternity, offboarding, all of those events. So that's again a
Oh.
custom application that needs to be installed. Again, these are linked with different subscriptions. So obviously talk to your account executive before installing any of these on your client instances.
Hmm.
Obviously, we have got integrations part as well. Obviously, you can install this, and then obviously it'll bring in all the other, different sort of
Navigation
modules
slide.
in, and then you
Okay.
can put in the integrations with it. Um, I believe these are the performance analytics packs. So I think we were just talking about this a few minutes ago, wherein specific dashboards are inbuilt out of the box with the HR module for specific areas of the platform. So this one's for core, this one's for lifecycle events, document management as well. Again, a key area in the HRSD space wherein you manage your documents, signing of these documents, again, all of those aspects. But again, yeah, I think you
Okay.
should be able to just search with human resources and you should be able to find other plugins as well, which I haven't installed yet. But yeah,
And this
based
is
on
going.
some of the
This is
installed.
being installed as a scoped application in the system.
That is correct. Yes, it was a scope application. So yeah, so all the people who said it's a scoped application, you all are right. Yes.
Right. And is the answer right for LLM? It's a large language model or the long language model?
It's large language model.
Thanks, Harneet.
Awesome. I'm just going to close the screen for now
Yeah.
and just get back to our HRSD, the HR case management. So again, the whole bits around HR case management are all available here. First thing first, I think we have slightly talked about this in the previous um, um, session,
Mhm.
and it's called the COE. So what are COEs? I think we talked
Okay.
about this. So there are different COEs that have been set up by ServiceNow out of the box, which is different case types
Mhm.
in the HRS in the HR areas, and then as I said, there are different tables available with each of these. Now, with ServiceNow's out of the box installation, you can actually enable or disable some of these tables if you want to. So, say in our organization, we don't have, let's say, total rewards or I don't know, operations case, sorry, as in COE at all, right? Nobody works in
Mhm.
those areas. So then it's a quick toggle switch on and off. And obviously, those cases or all of that table will now be disabled or basically not visible to anybody. So it's a quick switch on and off that can be done on each of these COEs, um, so that it's not available to anybody. So that's first part of it. The second important part of it is the COE security policies, and I think we've talked about this in the last session as well. So each COEs, I think the employee relations case is an example, right? They all go into a table called SNHRER case, which is an extended table of SNHR core, sorry, or SNHR case, my bad. So that's
Okay.
the parent table, SNHR case, and then underneath it, we've got all of these COEs, meaning different tables underneath it. And then obviously we can put in security policies for these. So, what we ideally do is you usually create a query BR or a ACL, right? And that's how we restrict the information to certain people.
This is what we discussed in the last session, that how to hide information from one of the person or the user
Yeah,
from one CA to the CA or the other
that is
roles.
correct.
Okay.
So if you see, we can select the COE. So which specific table you want to apply this restriction to.
Mhm.
Obviously, it will be under an application. What do you want to do? Do you want to allow this group? Sorry, do you want to allow this group to have the access, or you want allow this group to only view the restricted cases, right? And then once I gave the name of the group, so let's say HR Confidential is the group. Atul and I both part of. Sorry, let's assume Atul is part of it, and I want only Atul to see all of those cases. Then what I'll say
Mhm.
is yes, able to restrict the cases, and he's able to view the restricted cases as well.
Okay.
So what this means is he can mark a case as restricted case. Again, there is an option on the HR cases to mark a case as restricted, meaning that now it won't be visible to all the agents, but only to the people who are part of this group, because it could be something
Okay.
sensitive.
Okay.
That's an option under the relations case. But there's just an example. Obviously, this can be pretty much straightforward to say COE payroll should only be visible to the payroll related groups. And then
Mhm.
you can just mention the groups or just create a parent group and have all the payroll groups underneath it. So what that basically gives you is an easy way to control the visibility of the cases.
Okay.
A key thing that I missed to talk about earlier is the HR related roles. So if I quickly go
Profiles
back,
and roles, definitely yes.
yeah. Not all the roles. I'm just specifically talking about the HR admin role because,
Mhm.
from a developer's standpoint, what I think, yeah, sorry, we have actually talked about the roles in our previous session anyway. So, like agent and user role and the manager roles. So I think what all those roles are. But in today's session, what I really wanted to talk about was, okay, I went into, should have gone into the default one because it's now showing me my HR profile rather than, I mean, the information from my HR profile rather than the
User.
user. Yeah.
Okay. Is it not confusing that a same person has a two profile, like a user profile and a HR profile? Or this is the way that it has been designed or the model has been built up?
I think it makes more sense, right? Because otherwise you'll have to create certain fields and then restrict the access to those fields
Right.
via different mechanisms. And obviously this exists in the global scope. HR profiles exist in the HRSD scope. So making a change in that record is rather easier.
Easier than
And you can
right.
have linkage to your HR cases. You can have linkage to your payroll, compensation, documents related things quite easily. Otherwise, you'll just have to maintain a lot of rules on this table,
Right.
and
Maybe
yeah, it
the
just
CS
slows
kind of
down
things
the.
were to be set up right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry. So what I wanted to touch base was on the HR admin role. Where is the admin? Sorry, it's been a while. I haven't explored the HR admin role. So basically, what I was trying to say was HR admin role is a separate role altogether. Yeah, I think these are for lifecycle admins. This is for integrations admins. So if you see,
Hmm.
last time we slightly touched base on this. So we're in
Right.
how do HRSD in general get secured from all the other applications. What they've done is they've created application specific admin roles, and
Okay.
only user with these specific roles will be able to make changes in that application. So if I'm not an SNHR integrations admin, I won't be able to make any integration changes onto the platform. Even though if I own the system admin role on the platform, these are application specific roles. Until and unless they've been added to the admin roles, we won't be able to do them. So this just provides an additional security onto the platform.
Okay.
Um,
Something similar we have in the security incident response as well. Means if you want a user should able to see the security response incidents, then you have to be give that separate role to be on that particular part. Good.
that makes sense.
Now I understand that why there is a two different profiles are there and how we'll be using roles to be work on that particular part.
Perfect. Cool. Let's get into the case form. So just to have a look and feel of how a case looks like. More or less, I think we've talked about some of this in the previous session in terms of what are cases and what are tasks underneath it.
Yep.
Very much similar to an incident and an incident task. HR cases, again, they are more sensitive in nature, but they are always associated. So, okay, before I go into a specific case, which I've already done, that let me go back. So yeah, we were talking about this in the previous session anyway, but just bringing that up again. Task type is nothing but your COE
Right.
against which specific, again, what I've done is at the moment I've just opened this table, which is, oh, SNHR core case. And then underneath it, we have got all of these different tables. So if you see HR total rewards case, relations case, HRIT operations case, right? All of
Hmm.
these different type of cases are there, and they are all in their specific tables. And underneath the table structure, what we have is a topic category, topic detail, and then with each of the table, we also have an HR service. Now, everything that we see in the platform is always associated with an HR service. That's
Right.
the
Key here.
lowermost. Sorry.
Yes, key. No, that is the key which you
Exactly.
told last in the last session as well. That is the key that services are there, and services will be used by the end users, right, to raise
That
the
is correct.
request. Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good.
So in just a few minutes, we're actually going to see how an HR service is configured as well. But just wanted to quickly show you on the cases
Mhm.
view. We actually have the name of the table, the topic category, and then the HR service in itself as well. So that's how the categorization is done, which we've seen earlier.
Okay. Got it.
So quickly opening and form. Again, the key attributes in here is open for and sometimes subject person. So it's so who has this HR case been opened for and who's the
Mhm.
subject person. Usually it can be different as well. So let's say it's open for Atul as my manager, but the subject person is me. So
Hmm.
Atul needs to action it, or Atul is the point of contact for this case, but it's been raised for me for my termination. Let's assume that is in scenario. So yeah, so two different attributes being used called open for and subject person.
And
And
it's
then
similar like requested for and requested by something similar nature, or it's a different one.
it's slightly different. The reason being we also have requested by. So let's
Oh,
assume
okay.
Atul's manager has raised this request, keeping Atul as the open for and the subject person as me. So yeah, that
Okay.
attribute also exists, which is called open
Hmm.
by.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So if you see here, I had raised this case yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
No, not yesterday. Sorry, this is not one of them. But yeah, this was opened by system admin
Mm-hmm.
for Daniel, and obviously the subject person can be somebody else. So those are the options. Usually on a case, I think the life cycle goes through a draft state. Initially, the HR cases are logged as draft cases, and
Mm-hmm.
then it can be made ready. Usually, the draft is when we're not 100% ready that this case has got all the information that needs to be there. for the case to be raised. So initially it gets saved as draft. And
Okay.
we are going to look at this, how an employee can raise a request and just keep it in the draft state. And once he's ready that, yes, I've got all the information, now I'm ready to raise the
And
request, he
and
can
for that we are
submit it.
going to be use the ECS portal, right?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
important, yes. So if you see, they have started putting in some information in there as well. So ready is HR case is fully qualified, but work has not started yet. Meaning HR case has got all the information on it, but it's
mhm.
just not, nobody has started working on it.
Okay.
Um, Awaiting approval, usually this status is not being actively utilized, but if your HR cases needs an approval before it gets logged or the request goes through, so this can be useful during your journeys, but not specifically applicable on the cases wherein you're
Okay.
waiting for something to happen in the platform. In progress, obviously, when some agent has picked that up, close, complete, incomplete, cancelled, very much basic statuses based on what it already explains. Awaiting acceptance, it's majorly when an agent has done an action, and obviously we are waiting for the end user to accept it. So until that they accept it, we don't go ahead and close the case. We wait for that acceptance to come through.
Okay.
Suspended is service order has been suspended. Again, I haven't used that before, but I would like to explore that further.
Right. And maybe for everybody benefit as well, if you need any documentation around this, you can go to the Now Create and you can download the process workshops presentations, where you will find all these meanings as well, that what is the meaning of this particular state, and
Yeah,
what really meaning, I'll not tell what we can do, but the meanings you can get it there, and you can get the complete life cycle. Because here we are giving a demo, but if you want in the presentation format, Now Create is the best place to be go and download there, and you can get it a lot of things there as well.
absolutely. It's a good shout out.
Thank you.
The other attributes on the case are very much similar to an incident. You've got priority, you've got source, you've got an assignment group who'll be working on the case. A person will be an assignee to the case as well, who'll be working on the case, and then he's got a short description to look at, basically the information raised by the end user. Now in HR, what we also have is something called checklist or
Mhm.
fulfillment instructions. So two aspects. What you can do is, let's assume that you want to give in some information to the agent in terms of these is the information that you need to give back to the user when you're working on a specific HR service related case, or there is a certain checklist. So let's assume a record has been, sorry, a case has been case has been raised for reporting drugs and alcohol usage. Now, when that happens, what do I want to? I'm sorry, should have opened that. What do I want the agent to do? So let's assume validate the documentations that are available, look at the knowledge articles that are available, right? So it's like a checklist that is available to the agent so that he goes through it and understands what are the fulfillment steps required to complete this case. So
Okay.
that's again
And,
a
and
sort
and
of new
we can
principle.
build our own checklist as well. We can configure it, right? Or
Um,
it's out of the
no,
box.
just because I'm an admin, I'm able to see this.
Okay.
Usually, this is configured from an HR service. So I'll just jump back to that screen in a few
Sure.
seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically your case, and obviously your summary report is once you click on it, once you have description, short description, there's a active conversation that has
Activity format,
happened,
right?
work that has been done, then you can download a summary report. But it's a good time. Now let's jump into the most key aspect of the HR service configurations. And we're going to take a good example. Let's assume change start date. Now, okay. I'll just click edit here so that it's much more visible. Okay, so HR service, again, it's a name of an HR service. It explains under which COE this is maintained. So under HR talent management with the topic detail of manage starting date. So that's the topic detail. Um, and then underneath it, we have got an HR service called change start date, right? If you see an attribute here called fulfillment type, so how will these cases be fulfilled? So if suppose for an employee,
Hmm.
a starting date during an onboarding needs to be changed. So how will that be managed? This will be managed via a flow. So
Okay.
what that means is the fulfillment of that case will be done via flow, meaning there will be a sequence of tasks getting created. There might be an integration because the start date needs to be changed in the other profiles as well, like the workday profiles. So that
Hmm.
has to be maintained as well. So basically, this just explains what is the type of that fulfillment. I think we were talking about this earlier. Show the case to the subject person. So there's an attribute here called subject person. And do we want to show the case to subject person? Yes, because these are not very sensitive in nature, but the employee relations case was a sensitive one. So meaning it wouldn't be shown to the subject person, but only to the person who it has been opened for. So say it was opened for me because I was supposed to be terminated. Obviously, it shouldn't be available to me, but should be available to Atul. So in that case, this
Okay.
checkbox for employee relations would be off.
Hmm.
Again, the record producer, as we were talking about this earlier, record producer is nothing but how do I request for this HR service? So assume Atul's manager want to raise a request for a start date change for Atul. How do they do it is they'll have to raise this request either via the ESC portal, or if there are integrations in place, then an integration would kick in and create a request underneath the this record producer, and that will create a case in the ServiceNow platform.
Okay.
So every request, HR service is associated with a record producer. Not every, but yeah, it's usually the fundamental way of allowing users to raise that request. Obviously, if it's an integration based or you don't need a record producer, you can directly go ahead and create a case. But record producers help end users raise those cases. So similar to your payroll requests, or if something has gone wrong in the organization and you want to report it, obviously all of those can be raised via the record producers only when an HR service has an associated record producer to it. Next one is case options. If you want to do certain action, if you want to allow certain actions, or if you want to disallow certain attributes to be visible, states to be managed separately for this HR service, all of those things can be done via here, which is called case options, wherein you can configure a specific condition. And in here, as you see, so as soon as the case is created, add the manager to the watch list. So if a case has been generated for me, add Atul directly to the case so that he can also see it as well.
Okay.
Do not default the subject person. So these are different aspects that you can do. Again, you see here, it's automatically create a draft document. What that means is if a start date has changed, obviously I need to send out another documentation for Atul to sign
Documentation.
and then
Hmm.
return it back, right? So you can do certain actions automatically when a case is generated. So this is the case options. HR criteria, what that signifies is who this HR services is visible to. So all users, obviously when we say all users, these are only with HR profiles in the ServiceNow platform, meaning an employee, contractor, or contingent worker. Basically just defines, I think we have slightly touched base on this last time. So user criteria. So user criteria are applied on knowledge articles and catalog items to restrict the visibility of them. Similarly, HR criteria is applied on HR services to restrict the visibility of these HR services or record producers in general. We were talking about this checklist. So we can create a checklist in here. So now every time a new case has been created, let's say for change start date, and there are certain checklists that needs to be followed by the agent. So I'll say validate the draft document and then approve the draft document to be sent out. So what I can do is I can just create, so when we are setting up the HR service, we can just create these sort of checklists for the agent so that it just helps them fulfill these cases much faster.
Okay, got it.
So again, very key. So when you set up your HRSD module, you have to make sure that your HR services are being initially set up correctly. So that you either have the options to raise them as a record producer, you have your visibility criteria defined, and then different other aspects that can be maintained as well. So again, just go through the ServiceNow HRSD documentation. You'll be able to find the importance of each of those fields, how the fulfillment happens, stuff like that. I think oh, sorry. When I said fulfillment type is flow, it also asked me to attach a flow to the case as well, because obviously the fulfillment needs to happen via flow, but what flow it is. So it's similar to what we have for catalog item as well. So when I say catalog item fulfillment needs to be done via a flow,
Okay.
we need to select a flow.
Yeah. And getting this information like COE, categories, subcategories, and services are the part of foundation data collection, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
It needs
And
to be there
again,
before you enable the service. Yeah.
yes, and again for the same, you can refer the now create documentation, and you will get a lot of templates as well, that how you can get this information from the customer, because this is given by customer, not created by as a me as a developer or me as a business analyst. Given by customer, then we can optimize it, we can see any duplication, and we can remove that and put into the service line that part.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Quickly touch basing on how we can raise these requests. So we'll talk about the portals. So I'll
Yes.
just quickly go to the portal. So yeah, so these are basically the configurations that go behind the scenes when you're setting up your HRSD.
Hmm.
That's your case view. Obviously, you can. Yeah, I think one thing that I'm not sure if everybody noticed was the table was changed. Obviously, we initially were on SNHR core case,
Right.
and yeah, the table changed because it's a child table to that parent table, and yeah, again the COE related configurations apply here.
Hmm.
So let's go to the employee center portal. That's your portal for your employees. There was a slight conversation about this last week where Atul and I were talking about the different taxonomies. So, what does a taxonomy define in the ESC portal? Because, as I said, so initially ESC was laid out to be an employee portal and it's an internal portal, but then it was upgraded for raising all IT requests, legal requests, your um, workplace related requests. If you want a seat to be booked, stuff like that, everything can now be done via your ESC portal. So it has become a more internal self-service portal rather than just an HR related portal.
Yeah,
So
right. And maybe for the people who are new in this particular domain, that the technological background of the both portals are different actually. So service portal is like a normal one, but it is the ECS is like a next experience portal, which has a combination of everything, as Harneet said. And here the word taxonomy or the term taxonomy play a very vital role. If you add the taxonomy, only then user will be able to see the different areas or or the catalog items in this particular part. But yes, and there's a no, and there's any migration possibility that just click on the migration and service portal will move to the ECS, or we have to be configured one by one again if anything need to be do.
it's a really good question. I think I saw a blog
Mhm.
written by somebody. I'm not sure if it's an automated one. I think that's a manual one wherein
Okay.
he or she had given in the steps
L-
of how to
Like,
migrate to an ESC portal.
yeah, like generally people or the on the community people ask that I have a workflow. Can I switch or migrate to the flow designer in a one click, which is not possible case as of now. So something similar we're looking for. Okay. So again, a
Yeah,
recommendation that
because
go
what
ahead,
really
sir.
happens is on your service portal, right? You might have customized it. Say you might
Yes.
have created a new widget, you might have created a new page altogether. You might have altered the queries, how the
Mhm.
data has been queried, right? So all of those changes might not automatically come through to ESC. So you'll have to do some customizations
That's
here
mentioned.
as well. Yep.
Okay. And also, in the current times, ServiceNow also recommending to use ECS portal, because this is going to be the future for as a one interface for everybody. So if you're new in the industry and your customers say, okay, I want a portal, prefer to be take them on the ECS directly, so that your time for them in the future for the migration and troubleshooting will be less. And definitely this portal is coming with the new features as well, which is good for you as well and the customer.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how I can raise the request here, and Harneet, because I can see a lot of options are pictures are there.
Yep. So since I just enabled the out of the box one, you see this is more aligned to the taxonomy of an IT. So you
Right.
see when I click on technology services, the only option that I have here is the technology services. And these are all related to your IT related requests that you raise. So what I did was yesterday when I went back in, if
Mhm.
I just show you slide configurations that we've done, click on the employee center again, scroll down a little bit down. You see there's a tab here for taxonomy
Right.
for an employee. And then if you go into the HR related topic, what you can do is you can actually add different aspects to it. So I think what Atul was mentioning earlier, you can actually add catalog items, you can add knowledge categories, stuff like that. So what I did was I went ahead and added all of these yesterday into the child topics. And if I just open, say, as an example, retirement and separations. Yeah, I didn't do this in this one. But basically, underneath each of these topics, also you can add catalog items and knowledge categories. Forgot which one did I update.
Yep.
Might have been one of these. But yeah, basically this is your taxonomy. Basically you have got your parent topics. Underneath you have got
Mhm.
child topics, and then underneath them you can actually go ahead and add catalog items and knowledge categories. Click on edit. Should be
Okay.
able to find the catalog item or the knowledge article, and then you can add them underneath it. So what this basically defines is different categorization of your knowledge articles and your catalog items that are available,
Mhm.
and in different segments where this will be added to the portal. So you can go ahead and just configure these. It's not a customization, it's just configuration, and then these will be visible
Like
on your Employee Center portal.
few clicks and your I can say the HR taxonomy will be available on the ECS portal, right?
That's
And
correct.
we can make a change in this portal via portal configuration module, right? The same way that
Absolutely.
we done for the SP. Okay.
Absolutely. We can do that as well. Um, yeah, let's try and look for the HR service that we were looking earlier. Oh no,
So just one more thing,
it's not
Harneet,
available. Hmm.
on this particular part. So if I tomorrow if I install GRC port GRC plugin or maybe IRM plugin kind of things I install, and
Hmm.
I have some catalogs, I have to be just add that taxonomy in the ECS portal, and my work will be done, right? Or have to be add the catalog specifically as well for the different one.
Sorry, can you repeat that question,
Okay.
please?
So what I'm saying that tomorrow, because as you say that ECS is going to be one stop shop for everybody now. Either you're from the IT or from the HR or maybe financial legal.
Yep.
Let's say tomorrow I install GRC plugin,
Hmm.
okay, and I have few catalogs there for my
Okay.
users to raise spam or you raise some kind of alert that they're getting a lot of other different mails kind of thing.
Yep.
So I can just add that particular GRC in the taxonomy and
That is
my
correct.
work will be done. Okay.
That is correct. Yes. It's as simple as that. Yes.
Hmm. Got it.
So what I'm going to take as an example is, let's assume medical benefits. Um, yeah, that's the one. So what you can do is you can go ahead and raise a request for medical benefits enrollment inquiry,
Mhm.
and let's say, yeah, it's related to this specific plan. And my question is my dental covered
Yeah.
under
So
this?
maybe just to be simplify this, let's say I'm an employee and I joined this company newly and I want to know that company is giving me the medical insurance, but is my dental cover in that? For
Yep.
that, I'm raising a request. So simple like the day-to-day work which we do with the HRs. Now
Yep.
same thing we're doing in the service now, just to make a case
Correct.
little simple on that. Okay.
Yep. I think this is what we're talking about earlier. So an
Yeah.
option to save the request as a draft. So you can just click on it. It'll save the HR case in the draft state. And once you're ready, you can obviously go back and submit the request. In this scenario, I'm going to submit the request so that this HR case that has been created will directly go into the um, ready state. And what you can see here is that open for was system admin, split person is in system admin. And
Hmm.
yeah, based on the rules that have already been assigned in the backend, the state has changed to ready. The case has been assigned to Stephen. And yeah, this is where the end user can actually see what's happening on the case as well. So this is the description that they had provided. Their initial question was, is the dental covered or not? And then there are certain actions for the user to, go ahead and cancel the request as well.
Right. Two
And then
two
once they
points,
have a look at it.
Harneet here. Number one is that save as a draft is the newly introduced in the DC release, right? Or
I
it
think
was
so.
available for the HRSD earlier as well.
That's a good question. I am not 100% sure.
Because in the service portal we see in the DC release only that okay they have introduced.
Yeah, Save as draft was introduced in DC for catalog items and record producer. For
Right.
catalog items for sure, because these are linked to an HR case in the backend, right? Obviously, HR
Right.
cases had the draft state initially as well, so I'm not sure if.
Okay. And second part that as you said that once I raise this case and I can see this has been assigned to Stephen now,
Yep.
we are using the same fundamental of assignment to lookup rules kind of things for the auto assignment as well, right? There's no change in that particular part.
So we can use the auto assignment rules as well. There's also
Mhm.
something called skill-based assignment.
Right.
So
Okay.
these specific cases can only be done by specific skilled people,
Hmm.
and also based on their availability. So then all of those roles, this is something called advanced assignment
Advanced
rules.
AW, right. Advanced work
Absolutely.
assignment.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So that module basically will help you to do these assignments via a different criterias as well. So yeah, more or less, yes. So the same platform rules apply here.
Hmm.
So let's go back to the platform, have a quick look at that case that we just raised. Takes a while. There you go. Um, so in this specific scenario, these are the information that I had obviously filled in. Obviously, who the raised the subject person. I think as you see, it has now come up. The reason being for this one, you're not hiding the subject person. Why? Because
Right.
obviously the subject person open for both should be able to see it. The self-service request, obviously it went directly into the ready state. HR service, since that catalog item was already linked with medical benefits, the HR service is pre-populated. And with this HR service, there are certain fulfillment steps that are already associated. So that's the reason the agent is able to see them. So medical enrollment inquiries should be answered within 24 hours if possible. Please review the dash documents, and if they do not contain, then pass it to the tier 2. So obviously for tier 1 team, the HR tier 1, what they can do is they can go through these documents. If these answer the question that the user had raised, if they don't, then for them it is to pass it to the tier 2 team. And how do they get to know is this should have been these fulfillment steps usually are defined in here on this view. Just can't find which attribute does it. Yeah, it's just an configuration wherein you can just configure rather than checklist, you can configure fulfillment instructions. So these are the fulfillment instructions for the end user. So yeah, just one of the attributes that are available in HR service where you can just type this in.
So you said these are for the end users
Oh, my bad. For
or
agents.
the agents, right?
For
Fulfillment is for the
agents.
agents. Okay, so they can go here, they can refer these documents, and as per the documentation instructions, they can take a next steps on that particular part.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
I think one more thing that we didn't talk about is when I open the subject person's profile, you'll
Mhm.
actually land upon the HR core profile table, which is the user's HR profile. Now, what that helps the employees, let's assume I want to see what type of user it is. Is it a full-time employee? Is it a part-time employee? Because let's assume that the dental is not covered for contingent and contractor workers, but it's available
Right.
for temporary, full-time, and part-time employees.
Okay.
Again, the country of birth, it might be an important aspect that
Mhm.
helps them understanding the nationality of the employee, right? So all of
True.
that sensitive information can actually be accessed via that subject person attribute. But then, yeah, obviously the start date as well. So if the user has just joined today, maybe it takes a few days for the policies to kick in, right? So all of this information can then be available to the users from, sorry, for the agents from this screen. So yeah, that's visible as well. Um, yeah, that's one more option. This one last thing that I wanted to cover, which is around the bulk cases. Again, it's just another feature for the agents to go
Mhm.
ahead and create a bulk request. I did that yesterday. So let's assume there are 27 people who are supposed to join on the 8th of, not yet, maybe on Monday next week, but I want
Mhm.
to delay their start date. So for all those 27 employees, I want to change the start date to, let's say, a week after. What
Okay.
I do is I basically give a criteria. So how do I define a criteria is under this table. So I can say, um, yeah, sorry, I think, yeah, that's not the way. But yeah, basically there's a criteria that comes up. So if I click on a new, it will basically give me a criteria. So I can select the start date as 10th of June. So the criteria will tell me that there are 27 users fulfilling that criteria, wherein they are about to start on Monday. And what I want is a case to be in bulk generated for all the users
To change the date
um,
of joining.
to change the date of joining. So once I place that request, what it does, it creates all these requests. So initial, again, you have an option to create a parent so that you can have a parent view of all of these cases. If you don't, obviously this case won't be generated and all the other 27 will be created. So as you can see for Christy, Julio, Willis, a new case has been created for changing the start date, and they will all been assigned to the HR tier 1. So what this helps you is to create cases in bulk for a similar criteria or a similar criteria um, request.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah, these are like basics of an HRSD. So different COEs, different areas of the platform, the SE portal, the interaction from ESC back to the backend to an agent's interaction, and
Right.
then obviously the fulfillment that happens. Obviously, we have slightly talked about this, but the integrations with the DocuSign and all the
So do you
um,
have integration hub installed in your PDI?
Yeah, I do, but I don't have active integrations with any of the. I mean, obviously, we
Okay,
need systems like DocuSign integration or
right.
Adobe Sign integration as well. So won't be able to
Okay.
do them.
No, no, my intention was to just see that how many means what are the spokes available, how to search any specific keyword
Ah,
is there, like HR is the keyword to be searched, or
yeah. So what you can do is just go to Flow Designer. Uh,
and again for everybody it's a workflow studio now which has been renamed in the Washington DC release,
yeah.
and you can get a combination of flow, workflow, process guide, sorry, yes, process guides. Everything will you get in a single place now.
It's a good call out. Yeah. So in here, you should be able to just. Oops, can't do that anymore. Group by
Okay,
group
I
by.
just click on this. Click on three
My bad.
dots. Yes. Even not it's your bad. It's almost for everybody because we are so habitual for this list view that we know that it will
Yeah.
work out like this only. Right click and done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just terrible. My bad. But yeah, so what that means is, yeah, you should be able to come to this table here called actions, and then
Mhm.
if you want to find something that is related to your edge, it's so hard, man. It's so hard. This the search icon's gone.
No, to adopt a change, it required a little time.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. So let's see if any of these. No, there's nothing that contains HR. But yeah, all of your actions, the
Okay.
integrations hub spokes that we were just talking about should be available here and in the actions. If not, you can
Mm.
obviously try and create a new dummy flow. And what you can see is the list of actions coming up. So let's try, see what happens.
Okay. Yep. In the meantime, if anybody has any question, please feel free to be add in the comment section so that we can
Yes, please.
take a little bit more time of Honey to be clear the answers as well on that particular part. Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to see all of them coming up on the left hand side. So you see there's dynamic translation, document templates.
Okay, Harneet.
Do we have anything related to HR? Yeah, there you go. Nope. Yeah, there's something called change start action. Started action. Obviously, what you should be able to do is change the start date.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if this does it in another system or just in the ServiceNow HR profiles, but yeah, I mean, more or less everything that you enable on your integration hub related aspects, they'll all
Okay.
come up here in the actions list in here. Oh,
Hmm.
there you go. So yeah, none of these integrations are enabled at the moment, but yeah,
Right. Okay, Honey, just because we're already over the time now,
yeah.
what are the new available? What are the new stuff available in Washington DC from the HRSD perspective, or did you get chance to explore something on the Xanadu part as well? I know that the release notes are still not be out for the Xanadu, even not the this RTP one as well. But by any chance, anything you attend some events where you find some information kind of things. Okay, these are coming new in the HRSD part.
Yeah, so from a Washington standpoint, I've been able to find some key elements that initially
Mhm.
helps a developer to, sorry, not developer, but
For everybody, like
for
business.
everybody to understand what's new. So on the agent workspace side, there's an option now on the cases to go ahead and schedule a meeting with the subject person or the open for person. So
Okay.
let's say I want to have a quick chat with Atul, have a video call with Atul and look at his a document
Hmm.
while the onboarding needs to happen, right? There is an option now to have that meeting scheduled directly from the HR case. That's a new thing that's been introduced in Washington.
So it means no need to be go to Outlook and send the invite from there. It's just
Exactly.
one click and done. Okay.
You can have
And
your Zoom integration or your yeah Skype,
yes.
sorry, your
And,
Slack or this one. Yeah.
okay. And also this meeting booking will check the availability of the user as well. That when he or she is available. I
Oh,
know
that's a good
it's like
question. No, I don't.
external calendar because till the time I'm not an employee, so you can't see my calendar. But is any way for that? Maybe for the internal users, sometime like I raise a HR case for medical or some leaves kind of things, and I want to discuss something on me. Any possibility on that particular part to see availability?
No idea. I think we'll have to again have a quick look at the release notes to understand if they
Okay.
actually look at the availability or not as well. Again, these are things that you need to explore onto the platform
Hmm.
because at the high level on the release notes they just mention the features that are available. They don't dig deep dive into it. But yeah,
Okay.
once you install this on your application, on your instance,
Okay.
yeah, more or less these can be explored further. Yeah.
Sure. And you mentioned that now assist. What's bringing new in the now assist from HSD perspective?
Sorry, so on the agent workspace, just a couple more things that I wanted to cover quickly
Sure.
was the an option for the agents to add personal notes.
Hmm.
Now, until this moment, either we have the comments or we have work notes, and they're both visible to everybody who's going to work on that case. But there's no option. So let's say I've started working on an HR case, and I have
Hmm.
certain personal notes for myself that I want to ask the end user about. Sorry, yeah, the user about his joining date or maybe some of the personal details, right?
Right.
And I don't want that to be shared across with the other agents who are going to work on it. Obviously, I don't want to add that to the comments as well because then it'll be
Mhm.
visible to the end user as well. So
Okay.
it's just as an option to add personal notes on an HR case that's now available with Washington.
So it's like
And
my own sticky notes are there.
yeah, exactly. That's sticky notes. Yeah, more or less notes inside your HR cases now.
HSD. Okay. Good.
And the last one is securing documents. Obviously, with HR case, if a document is linked,
Hmm.
um, documents are nothing but attachments on your HR case. Now there is an option to secure the documents, the visibility of the documents. So say I only want to share it with HR tier one group and not with any other groups. So until
Okay.
this moment, we didn't had any security rules that can be applied on top of attachments. But then to secure the documents and to make documents available to only specific group of people, now that
Mhm.
option is also enabled in Washington.
Okay. Just one more thing on Harneet, on this particular part. Is any way that, because as you know that as per the GDPR, that if a employee is not part of the company and his data need to be washed out after 3 years or the 4 years or 5 years, the timeline. So ServiceNow provide any kind of a notification or kind of a security policy or kind of a pop-up or email or the report to the HR that this employee is not longer with you more than 3 years. You have to be wash out the data for this one. Any idea on this particular part?
Has to be done manually because every
Okay.
organization has got different rules or policies. So not all the organizations follow the same. But if they are related to GDPR and if it's a common policy across, then obviously
Mhm.
we can set up archive rules or archive destroy rules. So
Okay,
these information is basically removed from the platform and is not accessible to everyone. So yeah,
got it.
these are easy policies to implement. But yeah, I think with introduction of modules like GRC, it helps you to keep a top of all these policies as
Hmm.
well.
So means again we have to be little bit collaborate with the GRC to be see what's be happening and how it can be bring out HLC. Okay. And
Yeah.
what new is in the now is because I'm looking for that for a long time now.
Yeah, so I think we have briefly talked about this, but the option to generate the resolution notes. So, uh, uh, what LLMs does is look at your initial case, the knowledge articles that are available in your platform, and all the interactions that you've done back to the agent, and then be
Mhm.
able to generate a resolution note for you. So this is
Okay.
what the initial case was all about. This is what the analysis that was done, and this is what the resolution is. So it will be able to generate that resolution notes for you.
Hmm.
Second thing is summarization of a chat history. So let's assume this actually started from a live agent interaction. So I went to the virtual agent, I asked a question.
Hmm.
There was a sort of an interaction between the live agent and me. And I want a summary of that chat rather than the whole chat, which is, I don't know, like 100 chats collaborated. So what I can do is I can have a summarization of that chat history and basically give me only the important information that I need out of it for me to work on the case. So that's also
Okay.
available with Now
So,
Assistant
so like we
HRSD.
have a case summation, now we have a chat summation as well.
Yeah,
So that when it's passing from virtual to the real agent, he just see 10 lines and go back to the customer and employee and start working on that particular part.
that is correct. Yes. Obviously, we also have the generation of knowledge articles at the back of the HR cases as well. So
Hmm.
if there's certain information that was collected through the case, resolution notes are generated, and if there's a knowledge article that needs to be created, then yeah, HRSD knowledge article can also be created at the back of it. And the
Right.
last one, I think we have touched base on this, a summarization of actions while the case transfer happens. So if there was certain actions or certain information that was already shared with the current agent, and if he
Mhm.
or she is passing that during a case transfer, all of that information can also be passed as a summary to the next agent or to the next case, yeah, agent as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty much new. On the Xanadu side, not a whole lot of things have been out yet. So
Yep.
yeah, Atul and I know most about the things that are available for the developers. but not specific in each of these areas. So yeah, really just looking out for that yet. I think Creator Studio definitely one of them, but it's not specifically impacting HRSD as in a product. So
A
it's more
product,
like
right?
a platform feature. Yeah,
Okay. Great. And also, Harneet, definitely for everybody as well, as you say that knowledge article creation from Now Assist, and this is also recommended by ServiceNow and as a Gen AI community or the AI community that any article, anything which you are generating from these systems, make sure that you do the proofreading two, three
yeah,
times so that any error, any mistakes, any sentences, any words are wrong, you can make a correction. It's not like blindly I'm accepting everything it is created, so everything is good for me, but you done that particular part. So two eyes, four eyes check is also required in these documentation. Okay, I
absolutely.
have few questions here, Harneet, for you now. Even though in the similar manner only, I pick up the first question which is raised by Snowbite. What type of project we can do for learning HRSD? I thought doing a life cycle of employee from onboarding to leaving company, but I'm not sure from where to be start. He's and this person is new in the HRSD as of now. So what your experience is?
So I wouldn't directly jump into the life cycle events as of yet because I think we have talked about these in the couple of sessions already. So to start
Right.
understanding the core area of the platform first. So what is HRSD? How are cases created? What are different mechanisms to create a case, right? Through virtual agents, through your service portal, right? So understand how those initial laid out principles are, what those are, and then get into the lifecycle events. With obviously with lifecycle events as well, when you enable these plugins into the platform, enable them with demo data. I think that's what I usually do. So what that helps me, obviously on PDIs, what that
Right.
helps me to do is understand what cases were created, what was the resolution to it, what are different tasks available. Because otherwise, if you do it by yourself, you might have all empty canvas and you might get lost. So having those dummy data already there in the platform helps you.
Okay.
Second thing is now create. I think Atul keeps talking about it, wherein all of these um, information is actually available on now creators documents as well, so wherein you can understand how the process needs to be set up, and then obviously go back to YouTube or the documentation site and have a look at how the setup needs to be done. So if you just want to try out some hands-on, obviously just pick up some use cases from the ServiceNow community. So go to community, try and find
Right.
out some questions that have been posted in the lifecycle events sort of space, right? And try and do them on your instance. So anything that a person was facing as an issue, obviously try that out on your instance so that you learn something new in that specific segment. But obviously for me, start with the basics and then go into the lifecycle events.
Right. So in short, maybe I'm not sure what's your real name because you joined with the Snow Bite here as well. So first is that start working with the case management, that how the case lifecycle work. Once you get comfortable in that part, then go and install the next plugin like a onboarding, offboarding, which give you a little bit more flavor that how it can proceed. And definitely you can take a help from the Now Create. ServiceNow docs are there because the second question put by Ranganathan is the same thing that where to find documents related to HRSD you mentioned. Could you repeat? So
Yep.
you can go to the Now Create. It's very simple URL nowlearning.servicenow.com/now create. It will take you to the Now Create website. There you can go to the in the section of assets and you can search HRSD as a product or the search or maybe in the left side you find a checkbox and you'll get every information there. In case you're not able to access Now Create with your personal ID, because latestly I heard that Now Create is not available for the personal IDs, it should be available only for the partners. Please log a case to the Now Learning and they will let you know that is any checkbox required in your profile so that you can also access the Now Create or what is the next course of action for you. They can update you on that particular part. Okay, fine. Yes, Anit. So we missed out our rapid fire. Don't go for a thank you. I'm still here. Okay. Anything which start with the alphabet L.
Can't be a release name, right?
Ca-
Legal service management.
Okay. Can't with sorry. Can with M.
Manager Hub, again, that's a feature in the HRSD space.
Yes, and M to M as well. That is also one thing.
M2M tables,
Okay.
yes.
Something with I.
Integration Hub, Again, that's a feature available with flows to integrate.
Okay, and something with
Indexing.
indexing is just something with A.
Oh, ACLs, the
Atul.
security feature on the platform.
Atul as well.
Yeah, Batul as well.
Yes, ACL is the right option, right? Good. Okay, so again, there's a follow-up question here that so in NowCred we'll get for which type of work which plugin is required. No, no, you will not get the plugin names. For the plugin names, you have to be go to the ServiceNow docs, right, Anish? Sorry, Anish, I'm saying Hanif.
That is correct. So, ServiceNow documentations, it's a very beautifully articulated documents that are available. So it starts from what plugin needs to be enabled,
Right.
and obviously how to enable plugins as well. And then secondly, what sort of screens you'll see. So there's a step-by-step process that's been mentioned on the document. So go to the documentation. So that's where you'll find the name of the
Yep.
plugins.
So now Create will provide you the process documentation mainly, templates
Yeah.
format that okay, how to get the information, how the life cycle of a case is working, what are the states available, who are what roles are there. But if you're looking for the plugin information, then only and only the ServiceNow doc is the one-stop shop for you, that particular part. And also you will be surprised to know now that if you go to the docs site, now in the doc site we have a AI, or I can say now assist available, kind of a now assist available. You click on the button called summarize, that will give you the complete picture of that particular page, what has been content been written there. So no need to be read the full page, you can just click on the summarize and you will get all the information here on that particular docs as well. This is the one of the example I can say now assist is their case summarization or the resolution summarization you can see on the docs as well. Okay, and if you have any further follow-up question on the HRSD part, definitely you can reach out to Harneet on the LinkedIn ID. Harneet, can I have your LinkedIn ID, please, so that
Yep.
people can connect with you?
Yeah, let me just bring it up.
Yes, Ranganathan, it's a summarize button is there now on the docs, correct? On the right side, green color is there now.
Do you want me
So
to watch share my screen? And
you can just definitely if you can you can share your screen and let people see what we are. Okay.
so yeah, that's me.
Yep. So you can reach out to Harneet Singh Seetal. His full name is Harneet Singh Seetal. So you can go and search. He's working in Accenture as of now. He's as a CTA on that particular regarding the CTA's part, that how to proceed or what the things, or you need some HRSD some support. You can reach out to Harneet on the LinkedIn ID. Also, Harneet.
So Atul, is it just me because I lost you?
Sorry, it was my connection this time.
That's all right.
Okay, so we are saying that Harneet and I'll not say that friend because Harneet considered that guy as a mentor, Ishan Shur.
Yes.
So they both do the podcast like me, but they invite a lot of people from the technical perspective. So you can go to their YouTube channel as well. You can watch the previous sessions which they conducted on the knowledge 24 recap as well on the some different technical sessions they conduct. So that is also one of the benefited point. You can get the technical discussions from there itself. Okay. So Harneet, now a little doubtful that my connection is a little fluctuating now. So before it go again down, let's take a 10-20 second pause and pray to God. Thanks to God for his all power, motivation, thoughts, suggestions, examples he gave to us during this discussion and we share with the everybody on the platform here. Okay, and then we'll finally formally close the session as well.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much everybody who joined from different part of this world, definitely from maybe you are from the EST, CST, IST, BST, or different time zones are there. So you join this session, hope you get some more interesting learning about the HRSD. If not, we are still here, Hanit is still here. You can reach out to Hanit on the personal ID or the on the LinkedIn and he can help you. And once again, okay, Shravan. Okay, okay. I guess you are the part of my group as well. Good. So thank you so much, Harneet, for putting time together for the back-to-back 2 weeks to share your knowledge on the HRSD domain with the community, specifically
Most
people
welcome.
like me, because I'm the one who speak a lot in today's today's session. Keep you bothering in between to be clarify my doubts as well on that particular part. We'll come back again, Harneet, with you because I know that I have a promise with you and Ishan to bring you and your spouses as well on the podcast once again to be see how you are be fighting or be doing the service now and the other domains together in that particular part. We'll plan definitely for that part. And I'm again coming back on the next week, guys, again with a new topic. Same time, 7:30. The flyers will be out very soon. I'm just waiting for the final confirmation with a new topic. And once again, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Have a nice week, everybody. Take care.
Thank you
Bye.
all for tuning in. Thank you so much. Have a nice day ahead.